Welcome back to the Finals Podcast. I am Javon, and this is another episode of the Sideline View. And before we get started, before we introduce the boys, please remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified of when I upload a new video. Now, I have Marshall and Robert in the cup with me, and today we will be discussing Chelsea. I didn't put out a review because I wanted to have a review of the game in this episode because fuming isn't the word, more so disappointment and disgusted at that performance uh, away to Southampton, to Aston Villa. Thinking about tomorrow, Southampton. And there's supposed to be a protest tomorrow. Let's not forget that. All of that will be discussed in this week's episode. Now, Robert, how you doing? What are you saying?
I'm good, man. I'm obviously disappointed with the result, but we pray for a better result tomorrow and the following fixture and so on and so forth. But yeah, we move up the
Mm-hmm.
chance.
Up the Chelsea. Marshall, how on, brother? How you doing?
Dude, I'm doing fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I had some time away from Chelsea, and even though the result happened and I saw the performance twice, I told myself I
Twice.
wasn't going to let Chelsea ruin my weekend, and I had to make sure that nothing they could do could ruin my weekend, like watching the result twice. So I was Chelsea proof for the weekend, baby. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm great. I'm in a great mood.
Early on in the season, I thought we were finally over the hump. We were finally over the past 3 years of terror, of bad football, of bad, constant, long, poor run of forms. But boy, I feel like, well, today's February 24th of the time of recording. I feel like every February 24th, we're always in some tomfoolery. We're always in a poor run of form over the last couple of years, and it's actually draining. So let's get started with the review of the game. What did you guys make of the game overall? Let me start with Robert.
I mean, the game. I think we started off pretty well actually. The way Moresca switched personnel a little bit, starting Neto up front so he can be a press trigger and offer that pace in behind against Villa, and we caused them problem. Gusto overlapping for that game. I think that provided more impetus going forward, and we're playing well, and they had Ramsey on the left wing, and then Unai Emery made the change. He said, Ramsey, come out, Rashford in. And that was a change. Rashford offered them a different dimension, a different profile,
Mm-hmm.
and it proved to be a positive substitution because he caused us more, a lot of problem. But overall, the first half I was pleased, but you can see, as the second half went on and went on, we just got gassed, and we couldn't probably just maintain that energy that was needed the entire game, and we didn't have much trusted deputies on the bench to come on and substitute. We got a few injuries that if we didn't have, we probably see out the result or even add the second or third goal. But it is what it is. We move, but it was disappointing because I was really hoping we'd win that game, considering Villa had played midweek, we had a whole week off and all that, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we can't seem to
Ma-
get over the hump in any these days at all.
yeah, Marshall, your thoughts on the game?
Um, Overall, I actually thought the game was pretty positive in terms of the performance. I think it was really unfortunate that we lost the way we did, to be honest. Because let's be honest, guys. We lost the game because Jorgensen failed to catch the ball.
Facts.
And we failed to win the game because Cole Palmer wasn't his clinical self. And I'm sure we're going to talk about Cole Palmer extensively today. So listen, it's one of these games that I don't mind when we lose like this. I don't, because for me, we lost doing what we wanted the manager to do, which is, and we said it last time, we got to put our hands up and say, yo, we wanted this. We wanted a formation change. Remember I was saying, Javon, at least go back to 4-4-2 or the basics. What did he do? He changed the formation up. He changed the tactics up a bit. He put Neto as a striker, something different, you know? And to an extent, what Robert's saying too, like, you can only work with what you got. You know, in Kunku, maybe we'll bring him up too, but like he's another one that, you know, he performed a little bit better today. Maybe the meshing is starting to get, you know, gel and stuff, but there are a bit of frustrations and such. I think something that Unai Emery did, which worked against us, was bringing on Rashford. I think Rashford caused Malo Gusto a lot of problems. I think Malo Gusto, for as much good he was doing in terms of being productive and advancing the ball forward, he would take 2 steps backwards by losing the ball. And after so many times getting caught in transition as well, like it was only a matter of time that Villa were going to score. And you know, we were doing really good to defend it, but you can't keep losing the ball the way we kept losing the ball, and that was what was making the game so frustrating for us, was the amount of transitions we were just giving them. But listen, I think if we go into the next game like this against Southampton, Copenhagen, Leicester, if we start being a little bit more experimental and finding different solutions, I think we are eventually going to stumble upon something to get us out of this rut.
Okay. For me, I don't know, people won't agree with this, but eventually you'll see. I don't think he changed much. I think he made changes up front with who was playing better and what was available to him. It looked like he changed much, but all he did was we didn't have an out and out right winger, and in terms of options, so we had to put Palmer out there. You know, we already said if Palmer is going to be on the right wing, you need someone to overlap. So that was the change there. And 2, we didn't have a striker, so he put Neto up front because the way how he plays, he likes the striker to trigger the press, i.e. when Jackson's playing, i.e. when Mark Hughes playing. And Nkunku played off the left because he wasn't good in the center and hasn't been good up front. If you really look at the formation, all he did was stick Reece James in midfield. How is that different? How is that a major difference from what he's done in the past when he has all their players fit? Because if Lavia was fit, Lavia would have played there. Maybe Reece James played as a right back. So the formation is still the same. Yes, certain tweaks were made, but for me, it was more so made only because Palmer had to go out on the right hand side. Kukurea still inverted, and the patterns of play were very similar. Same build up, same type of build up play with support. The support coming down the right hand side. Same link up play with Kukurea and whoever is on the left wing. And the only difference is that it's in Kunku on the left, so he's going to drift inside. So while I'm happy he made changes, the changes he made were more so forced on him. When I saw the lineup, I'm like, yes, a back 5 with wing backs, right? I'm saying, yes, you've recognized that we've been leaking goal at a higher rate than normal. We don't necessarily have the personnel to trust back there. Let's move to a back 3 and a back 5 when we're defending and we're off the ball. Because I'm thinking Reece James right centre back, Chalobah centre back, and Levi Colwill left centre back, and you have your wing backs in terms of Gusto and Kukurea, right? That way you'll have the midfield of. That way you'd have the midfield of Enzo, Caicedo right in the pocket. They can do what they do best, working together, and then you just have the front 3 up top, which rotated, similar to when we have Werner, Mount, and Havertz. This front 3 is a better front 3 than them, so I'm thinking, you know what? Magic, some changes, some wholesale system changes, that's going to get the best, that's going to have a better defense stability in terms of stability wise, and even to just put numbers at the back to kind of limit us leaking goals because it's Aston Villa, and you know the threat they can bring on. That way we could double up on the wingers without losing battles there, and have a better front 3 going forward. This man, for me, for me, and I may be naive people in the comment section, and you guys let me know. For me, I don't really see nothing has changed much. Maybe the personnel, but that was forced on you because of injuries. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I expected more of a wholesale system change, you know. And the performance was very lackluster. Yes, we started bright. Yes, we looked like we were on it after Enzo Fernandez scored. I'm saying, okay, maybe Reece James in midfield. I see what you're doing. He can spray the ball around the pitch. He can be physical in midfield. He can sit beside Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez can roam. After 15, 20 minutes, and Villa started to pick up speed and a bit of momentum, it was I believe we lost it there. Same mistakes repeated themselves. Palmer missed chances. We couldn't capitalize on a 1-0 lead. I'm in group chats and people are saying this should have been a hard fought point, and I'm like, no, we were 1-0 up. If we're ever 1-0 up, I never want to hear it should be a hard fought point. You get where I'm coming from? But that's just me and my mentality. And then on top of that, Palmer missing chances, that could be down to confidence. Normal, I expect him to love the keeper. I'm thinking about that one chance in particular. He didn't. And Jurgensen, I don't know if it's because I don't know. Maybe he's just not good enough. He's just not good enough. I know Robert will have a lot to say when it comes down to bringing Sanchez back in goal. But yeah, for me, it's just disappointing, and I got my hopes up when I saw the lineup, and then to see the actual play, I'm like, oh, you're just doing the same thing in disguise. What do you guys think? Am I reaching, or am I making somewhat sense here?
I mean, you have some points, but I do overall think that over most times when you change the personnel, you kind of change the way you play, and you kind of do change the way you approach the game. Like you can't sit here and tell me that the way Neto and Enzo combined in that middle is similar to how Nkunku and Palmer have been in the past 2-3 games. You know, he had the option of keeping, Nkunku in the 10 and not in the 10, in the striker position, and Cole Palmer in the 10, and he didn't do that. And you saw in this game that Neto, even though he didn't score, he still provided a threat. He still was, giving their center backs trouble and something to work with. He was doing something, unlike Nkunku, which, when they see Nkunku in the striker position, the center backs are like, oh, easy day in the office, whereas Neto is like, oh, I got to keep track of this guy. He was doing the wide runs up and down the pitch and retrieving the ball, and he was doing a good job of that, which I thought was really impressive of Neto. Like, listen, even though we didn't win, I got to give Neto a little bit of props that was a really good performance from him.
Yeah, Neto does what he does, but it's very energetic, and he brings a lot of pressing to the game. But if you look at how we've been playing, it's similar pattern. When Noni was there, it's the same thing. Get the ball out wide, look for a cross back in the box. We had similar.
We've been this is again where I have to say, like, us as fans have been asking all season long. We want to see Palmer on the right wing with an overlapping fullback. And what did Maresca do? He stopped inverting Malo Gusto, which we complained about all season, and we gave us that. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, like, it didn't work this game, it's not going to work ever. Sometimes these things, adaptation and changes in the system, are going to take time, and you're going to have to persist with it until it works.
No, I think you're missing my point. My point is not trying Palmer on the right wing. My point is, two things. If you're going to do that, do that when we had an actual strike up front where Palmer and Jackson could have linked up, and he could have played Nkunku as a 10, right, beyond Jackson and stuff. But if you're going to do so now, I'm just saying, just go with a whole system change. Go with a whole system change, because it's not like you're making these changes just to score goals or just to get the better out of the forward line you have. Make the system change to be more solid at the back as well. Just go to a back five. You have all the criteria for a back five. You understand? Because the back, if you're going to put Palmer in the right half space, which he played most of the time, a wing back could still help him, right? It's the same thing with Nkunku. Nkunku would still need width on his side. Wing back could still help him. So let me hear what Robert has to say. Maybe I'm overthinking it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. To be completely fair with you, when I saw the lineup, I thought it was gonna be we're going to a back three with wing backs. But then I saw he played Rich James in the middle, and I was like, oh, okay. So we are playing a 4-3-3
Mm-hmm.
with Reece on the base of the midfield, with Caicedo and Enzo being the double eights,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously Cole Palmer playing right wing with Gusto overlapping. Which again, as I said, I think he worked. We Gusto caused them probably, quite
Mm-hmm.
a lot of problems in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
It was a different system. It was a different style. I think most fans have been asking to stop inverting Gusto and to play him,
Overlap.
and as an overlapping fullback because he got what 9 assists last season playing
Mm-hmm.
that role. So okay, all of us can say, okay, yeah, Cole last season he played as a right winger and had 35 GA in the Prem and whatnot. And so I think we all got what we were looking for. I think if we're going back five and we didn't win and got either the same result, we'll be like, well, he's not a Chelsea manager. How you gonna go play? You're gonna be good defensive against Villa. We should be on the front foot any day of the week. And plus, this is a new manager with a
Mm-hmm.
new team. He's not, and this you gotta understand. He comes with it from the school of Pep. He's not gonna change the overall style
System.
of like system. No,
Mm-hmm.
no way. He's not gonna go to back three just because
Yeah.
I
Not
need to get
FIFA.
one result and go to back three and abandon everything he's been working on the
Hmm.
entire season. He's just not that manager, and this is not the Jose Mourinho era where Mourinho would like I don't I'm trying to win, I'm trying to get points in this game,
Miss
therefore
those
I'm gonna
errors, bro.
do what I need to take points off of this game.
Mm-hmm.
Today, and I think again, people from the school of Pep will come and say, I know it's a process. Okay, it's a process. I'm not gonna abandon it midway through. Is I'm gonna persevere with it. I'm gonna go to back three, or I might tweak things within the system, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna drastically change it just for the benefit of getting one result. And I don't think you should expect that from Maresca. If you are expecting that from Maresca, then you're just setting yourself up
Mm-hmm.
for disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't think I think it's you over. I mean, as I said, I thought it was a back three, which kind of shocked me. But then
Mm-hmm.
when I saw it was a rig, like okay, that makes more
Yeah, yeah,
sense
yeah, yeah,
from
yeah.
the Moresca
Yeah.
school train of thought than going to back. I never thought it was gonna. I
Yeah.
was shocked when I saw it. I was like, oh, he's going to back three.
It was
This is
exciting, bro.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was
No, I
I
mean
was
I was
excited.
shocked in the sense that he's going away from what he's been doing all season for back three. I'm like okay. I'm interested to see how it
Mm-hmm.
goes, but
Mm-hmm.
it's
Hmm.
I wasn't excited. In my mind, I've never expected Morissa to go to back three this season, and that
Yeah.
was gonna be a shock to me. But the fact that he put James in the middle, that kind of made more sense from a Morissa standpoint
Hmm.
than going to back five.
But you know what? And this is why I like having these conversations because it does like give me more information and I can kind of like better evaluate even the things that I say. In hindsight, even if he did change information and did, change the way he was approaching the game in terms of a system, it may have gone south really quick. Because I
Yeah.
just when you started talking about it, I started thinking about, oh, you know what? When we introduced a new system, I
Mm-hmm.
remember how bad we looked in the preseason.
Mm.
hmm
Imagine doing that now when you need
Mid-season.
points. Imagine how much worse you could potentially look. And maybe that's something that, listen, I like a manager like Arne Slot that likes to have multiple tools in his disposal and
Mm-hmm.
can use them specifically for specific games, like almost like it's FIFA. Like, I kind of wish that, there were a lot of more managers like that, like Don Carlo or Arne Slot that can do something like that. But I got to remember that Maresca is one, inexperienced, and two, this team is also not the most experienced. So
Mm-hmm.
those are things you got to learn throughout your career, and you can get away with players that have experience and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, overall, the game, like I think you guys are right. For the most part, it wasn't really much of a formation change, but it was a very much needed
Personal
change of
change.
personnel and dynamic to how
Dynamic. Yeah, that's the word.
we
It was
went
more of a
into the
dynamic
game.
change. It was a more of
Yeah,
a
and we
dynamic
did need
change.
that.
Yeah, we did need that. We did need that. And like I said, It's more so disappointment of not getting the 3 points because
Yeah.
he did that what he did what I've been asking for. Change
Hmm.
something, brother. You can't just sit on your hands, you know. And who knows? Maybe you go with the same lineup against Southampton, and then we pick up 3 points against Southampton, and pick up 3 points
Yeah, I
against
mean,
Leicester, and then that gives us a bit of momentum or a bit of confidence going into the third game. And let me just quickly look up who we have for the third game in March. Our third game
Arsenal.
is
Arsenal in the
Ars.
league.
Oh, bro, who we have coming back by then? Because we're gonna need a bit of reinforcements. Hopefully, Jackson is back by then.
I
No,
mean,
And
they,
no,
you know,
no.
I mean, they lost to West Ham, so they're not like
Yeah.
unbeatable right now. So
no,
But
no,
I
no, no,
don't think
no,
we're
no.
beating
That's
them
not.
now. Come on now.
That's not to Arsenal. I'm looking at us. What form are we going to be in coming then? Are we going to pick up all the games? Because we have a couple conference league games in
Hmm.
that in
mhm.
that time. Maybe we could look at four games on the bounce
Yeah,
with
that's
wins, you know. So I'm more so
Yeah.
looking for the confidence going into the Arsenal game.
Yeah.
that's I hear you. I hear
Yeah,
you.
so
And they have the PSV, the Champions Leagues, and they have Nottingham Forest.
yeah.
Their 4 games compared to our 4 games. I think we might be going into that game with as the team with a that's more confident than on
Yeah.
One
on
can
on
hope.
on the
Yeah.
One
day.
can hope.
Yeah. And this is not even forced positivity. I'm just looking ahead to say, you know what, these are really
Hmm.
winnable games. And then
Yeah.
if we go to Arsenal and pick up a point or even a win,
Yeah.
it completely changes. So for me, disappointment against Aston Villa. Really wish you got the 3 points. A very disgusting performance in the second half. Cole Palmer lost. You could arguably say cost us the game along with Jurgensen. You know, and we move like this. There's not much to discuss. We've been on a losing run. Anything we say now is just repeating what we've seen. I'm
Hmm.
also concerned about the protest tomorrow. So let me start with the clear late defender. We've seen what that interview did last week on Talk Sport. and you, crazy enough, this I think that interview happened after we had the discussion on here.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start with Robert. What? Because you said it was a temper tantrum. When you saw or heard that interview with the Stevie guy, what were your thoughts?
I mean,
Um,
it just confirmed to me that it was a temper tantrum because the guy went there for 10 minutes, couldn't articulate a single thing that he was protesting. He was protesting that we had 140 million pounds in debt. Not even sure if that's accurate to begin with.
it's not.
Um, exactly. So you just going out there with some conspiracy theories you heard from some account on Twitter and just got to, and regurgitate 140 million. They've put us in debt, and it's like even if we were 140 million pound in debt for as Simon said for a company that was bought for 4 billion or that's worth 2.5 or 3 billion, 140 million pound in debt is
Chump
is
change.
dropping it's a drop in the bucket. It's not
Mhm.
even an issue or a problem. And so to go there and so all of that, and he said, we want our Chelsea back, and they asked him, "Are you one of those that was singing we got our Chelsea back in December?" He's like, "Yeah, I was." And then they're like, "Well, so what was it? What is it? In 2 months, you can go from we got our Chelsea back to we want our Chelsea back," and it just didn't make sense. And everybody going to the protest tomorrow, it seems to me.
Hey, 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 hey,
I
hey, hey,
understand
hey,
people.
hey, hey. Don't anger these people to come to my channel, bro.
Oh,
Be very
no, no,
respectful.
nobody
I
cares,
don't
bro.
want I don't want
Nobody
pitchforks and torches in the comment section.
cares.
Don't be doing that
No,
here.
but it is. But there's nobody has a concise message. Some people want Bluco out. Will come ban and say Bluco out. Some people come ban and says Keolek out. Some people come ban and say Winston Lee and Stewart out. Some people come ban and say Moresca out. It's like there's no concise message.
Mhm.
And if you come and saying, we want our Chelsea back, the media will just switch it and say and bring the chants from December when we were singing, we've got our Chelsea back, and all we look about is just a bunch of fools. And so I think it's just again the result against Villa. Would that kind of make those who were kind of on the edge to make the protest? Yes. I believe if we'd won against Villa, this protest would have been quite quiet. And people would have been like, let's just support the team against Southampton, get it down, get a win, get a momentum and whatnot, forget the protests. And I'm just saying, man, and I keep telling people, most of the big accounts that you all guys are following, and I keep retweeting and asking you to show up at the protest, themselves are not gonna show up. You're gonna show up there with a bunch of banners and stuff. The people that you've been following, that you've been getting all the information from, will not be there. They will show up 15 minutes before the game and they watch the game and get out and go home. Or better yet, they will be in the pub drinking a little bit before the game while you're protesting, and then they go to the game and then they go home. So it is just people frustrated that we have won what 2 games in 9 or in 10 or something.
And
Yeah, that's the frustration, and I get it. It's I would get it if it was fundamental because people are, and I get people are against what we do, what Clear Lake has done or whatever. But I think it's more of we're in a bad run of form than anything else. If we'd won 5 in 10, there wouldn't be any protests. But because we won 2 in 10, there is protest. So it kind of shows me it's not really something that's of major substance because it depends on the result on a game.
mhm,
Like when you do a protest, whether we're winning 10 in a row
mhm.
or 9 in a row, the protest is there. It's still there.
Porter should have been there. So
Yeah,
mm,
but I guarantee you, if we can have this protest, and if we win, we beat Southampton, we win against Southampton, Leicester, Copenhagen, and we draw against Arsenal. I guarantee you won't hear any protest for the rest of the year.
mm,
And if it's a one-off thing, then again, I said temper potential. If it's a protest, then make it consistent. Let it not just be one time, big conference league game before the conference league game, protest. Before a big game at home against Man United, protest. But if
mm,
it's just gonna be a one-off game against Southampton, of all places, the game we all know 90% we are all 90% sure we're probably gonna win, then there's no jeopardy, there's no substance to it. It's just we're frustrated with the form, and you just want to take your anger out somewhere, and you think going out there saying Clear Lake out, Bluko out, Moreska out, Westerly and Stewart out, Boyle out, everybody out is gonna do something. It's not gonna do
Robert
anything.
out. So,
Robert, yeah, you can say Robert out, or yeah, Robert out, this person out, or whatever.
mhm,
It's not gonna achieve anything. I don't think anybody that's going to this protest, if you really believe that Winston is gonna get sacked before because you protested, or Clear Lake or Blueco are gonna leave, or Boris is gonna get sacked before you protested, then you just lying to yourself. But
mhm.
hey, protest on. Good luck.
Like, listen, I'm not there. Let them protest. Let them protest. A change has to start somewhere. They need if they want their voice to be heard, if they want, because let's not glaze over some of the things that this ownership has done. Some disrespectful things, calling us customers instead of fans, and some
Mhm.
of them, some of the
You're so
little nuance.
sensitive.
It's
You're
not
so
about being.
sensitive.
It's not about being sensitive, Robert.
It's,
There's
oh, they
certain.
called us. They called us customers. They didn't call us fans. Oh my God.
Can I
Oh,
finish
I'm
my
hurt.
point?
God damn,
It's
Robert.
you know why you're speaking like this, because you're removed. Put yourself in
I'm
a
not removed.
situation. You are removed, Robert. You're not. You don't live in the country day in day out, so you're not in that culture. I've seen people what football means to people in that culture. So to have someone coming in from the outside to try and do things even a slightly a bit differently is going to upset people. So I'm explaining from that point of view, right? So let's not act like this ownership is perfect in some of the things that they've done and said to the fans, and kind of disregard the fans. Because remember, even last year, the fans was writing letters to this same consortium. So it's not like it's a this season thing, right? Some of the things that I will agree with you though is the form of Chelsea Football Club should not matter, and that's why people keep on going back to asking, were you one of the ones singing that we've got our Chelsea back? Because if you're going to protest against this, when we were doing well, you should have still been wanting to protest, which is why people like Minerals. are are having the spotlight and the highlight he's having right now because he was out against this board from the get go. The only thing I'll say for when people try to say, "Oh, were you the ones singing We've Got Our Chelsea Back?" The proper rebuttal to that would be we had to give him enough time. And being in this, being what, 4th or 5th January, no, sorry, 3rd or 4th February, where we're still struggling. We're still struggling to make top four, knowing that
Still in the
Chelsea
top
is a
four
big club.
race.
Pardon?
Still in the top four race.
Yeah, but we're still struggling to make top four.
Yeah.
We're not doing it convincingly, so that's
Mhm.
you're struggling, right? Still not playing well enough to solidify to say, okay, we're having solid performances week in, week out, week in, week out. We can see something here. And we're still seeing some of the major issues after all the money spent, after all the process, after everything we've been through. We've given enough time. So for a lot of these people, the straw has broken the camel's back. So when they said, were you know, jumping and parting, thinking you got your Chelsea back to Chelsea out now? Well, when facts change, opinions change, people. So the people, we've given it enough time. We need to see clear, consistent performances on the pitch, clear, consistent results, and clear and consistent in terms of things from the sporting directors and um, from the board as well. So that's why people are why they are right now. Marshall, let me get your thoughts on the protest supposed to take place tomorrow. Well, by the time this get released, I'm pretty sure the protest will
Yeah.
be underway.
Today, technically, I
Today,
guess
yeah.
if we're releasing it tomorrow, but yeah, I feel like I hit upon a lot of my points on the last show, and I just remain consistent on that. Really, if you guys, what both of you guys said, I think really just resonates with most of what I resonate with too as well. But in terms of like for tomorrow, for example, listen, very much like Robert, very much like Javon. If they want to protest, protest. Like I'm not saying don't protest because I do feel like there is a few characters that, and I think there are going to be people going. I feel like there are a few people there that actually do have reasonable things that they would like to protest for. I think having your voice be heard and letting it be known that you're upset with the way the directors have done things, and some of the decisions that have been made and some of the decisions that have not been made. I think that's something totally reasonable to protest for. But I think with regards to that, BT Sports, Stevie,
Talk
I
sport.
think from Talksport, yeah, from the moment he said it isn't result based, I already disregarded all credibility because I know that a majority of these fans, and Javon, you said it, I think, last stream, and you even reiterated this with Matisse over on All You Can Eat. If you really believe that the issue stems from Clear Lake, Bowley, Blue Coat, everything like that, and you've been wanting to protest for this, then this protest should have happened when Mauricio Pochettino got sacked. This protest should have happened over the summer. This protest should have happened way earlier, multiple times. In fact, just because things are going well doesn't mean you don't protest. So even on the goods and the downs, if you really are against this whole idea, if you really think the club is being ran poorly and such, then you don't only protest when the chips are down, which is what's happening right now. The chips are down. And so I think for me, the protests, let's be honest, for a lot of these Chelsea fans going, it's very much result based. They wouldn't have cared if we were still in second place right now and doing fine. No one would be talking about this. Let's be so real about this. And so a lot of the issue then happens because you have personalities on Twitter, personalities on YouTube regurgitating these conspiracies early onset that, oh, Blue Coat can sell. You don't think these millionaires are smart or billionaires are smart enough to put in a clause, and all these theories. People regurgitate them without any evidence, without any research, without any, type of thought into it. they reiterate these lines when they go onto people who are competent enough that can debate you, like a Simon Jordan. And then when they give you a response, you don't know what to say. And then you get caught looking like a fool. And so it's a lot of like, and it's funny too, the same personalities are not saying the same things anymore about I've heard now as of recently it's not been as much talk about Bowley selling. There's been more talk about like, oh, we're stuck with these guys, which I find it really funny after that whole the I'm sorry, what
Civil
was the name
War.
of the
Civil War.
the Civil War thing stopped as well.
Mhm.
And after the radio show episode went out, like no one was saying it anymore because they realized there's holes to the theories. So it's just like it's a whole lot of like it's a lot of propaganda regurgitating stuff, and I know a lot of fans that are going to go there tomorrow are just people who they just want to say Bowley clear Lake out because they're not happy with the results. Someone that they follow said that and said something reasonable, but it was never really tested outside of an echo chamber. And then when you talk to someone like us who are more reasonable and can give you a conversation, then we're brown envelopes. So
Bro,
you can't
let me tell you this.
reason with people like
Let me tell
that.
you this. Wherever they're giving out brown envelopes, send a link. Yeah, you guys know
Yo,
where my thing. The
please.
No,
extra
I'm not
money would
sharing.
go a
I'm not
long way.
sharing. I'm
I'm gonna
not
go to a
sharing.
spa day every weekend, so I
Every
feel
day,
I'm
this
not.
great.
send it
Hey,
right
hey,
now.
hey!
Send it
I'm not.
right
Give me the
now.
brown envelope.
I'm not sharing
Send
my
the
brand
brown
envelope.
envelope.
I'm not sharing my brand envelope sources. But anyway, to kind of piggyback to what Marsha just was just saying. This is all same like I have many friends, or few friends who are Chelsea fans. They're not on Twitter. They are not as outraged as as the people
Mm,
on Twitter are. They are more reasonable. Like they see something like, oh, there's protest, be like, huh? What are we? I know we're not playing well, we're not
yeah.
getting results, but like they can't comprehend what it's like. Oh, 2 months ago we were on top of the world. Now you want to go protest? Like
Yeah.
it does not compute. But
Yeah, the
because people are on
disparity is very
because
huge.
people are on Twitter, you listen to these ITKs be like, oh, I've been told by people in the industry that nobody respects us, nobody rates clearly, or the sporting directors, get them out. Oh, I had a conversation with somebody really higher up, and it was told to me, it's fact that they will sell Cole Palmer and Levi Colwill if we don't make Champions League because they are pure profit. I've been told, and
So
you
much
hear
for a
all of
prison
that, and
contract.
everybody, and there's nobody that's really significantly credible. It's like a bunch of people that are playing ITKs and want to act like they
Yeah.
know exactly how we run, they know exactly the objectives, and they speak to their friends confirm what they think, and like, you know what?
Hmm.
Nobody rates us. Nobody
Yeah.
thinks that we are good enough. Nobody thinks that what we're doing is gonna work. Nobody thinks that our model is sustainable. And no, that's why we bat on the pitch. And nobody, no, they looked the highly respectable people in the industry looked at the Joao Felix deal and look at it after 6 months he left. And it's like when you talk to people that are not on Twitter, and it's just like
Hmm.
you just calm with it. Like it's the people you on Twitter you listen to, you read this person type and it's big accounts type this and regurgitate conspiracy theories, especially after a bad result at a game. And it's just every time after bad result, I'm a Mr. Chance. It's the directors. Roginson, make a mistake will go to the directors, the recruitment. Oh, somebody is injured, the directors. It's like, yeah, you can make that case, but if everything that happens on the pitch you start blaming on ownership and directors and everything, and I will say this: how many clubs in the top six currently want the ownership out? United do, Spurs do,
Hmm.
Liverpool currently are kind of on hiatus because they're in the title race.
Yeah.
Watch come the summer
Arsenal.
when Trent leaves on the free and Salah leaves, watch him be FSG out.
Hmm.
Arsenal are Kroenke's out.
Yeah.
So it's like This
They're
is
City
just.
fans that want Pep out right
I
now,
think
so it's
it's
like
it
too
seems
far
like
off either.
it seems like Chelsea fans look at like, oh, we're being left out. We better also hop on the train of we want our owners out too,
Hold on, hold
because
on,
I don't
hold
know
on.
everybody
if
want
it's
the
true
owners
like that.
out. The Americans, we should want our owners out too. Let's hop on that train,
No,
and
no.
that's what we do now.
I'll say this. I'll say this. When you're making the comparison between Chelsea fans, you have a level. There's levels to these things. You have the level where we're in, where we. You have the ultimate level where, like us, I want to say as Chelsea fans, who make content about it, who read about it. It's part of your livelihood. It's part of your daily routine to see
Mm-hmm.
what's going on with the club at Chelsea. And then you have the set of fans that just up, that don't do all of that, watch the games and talk amongst themselves, critique the games amongst themselves, and move on. When
Mm-hmm.
when you look at a deeper research into Chelsea and what it's like, when you compare previous model to the current model and multiple other models in the world of football, then it's going to throw up a red flag. Then it's
Mm-hmm.
going to say, okay, this hasn't really been done before in football, and we need to get back to a level where we're one of the big boys in Europe, season in season out. So that's where the disparity comes from, there, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing as well you spoke about is the 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 the, the, the level of toxicity, or I would not give it a bigger subject. So that's the level of toxicity of the Chelsea fan base on Twitter, right?
Mm.
You cannot deny that when we're playing at home at Stamford Bridge, there's like a gasm in terms of the atmosphere there, because
Yeah,
you can
we
feel it
touched on
through the
this last
screen.
time.
You yourself spoke about it, where we are booing our own players, Robert,
Mm-hmm.
where we're not supporting our players. So I get what you're saying, and it is true to a certain extent, but I genuinely believe there's a balance to everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the other side of that is you're actually seeing that in the stadium. Like, the fans are not cheering how they used to. The
Yeah.
level and the atmosphere at Stamford Bridge over the past couple of seasons has drastically diminished.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that is being fed into this entire scenario we're seeing here. And this is not me just debunking what you said. I'm just saying there's a balance to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can take some of what you see on Twitter into real life, because it's being played out in real life. Go ahead, Marshall. No, you're itching to
No,
speak.
and like I said, I agree. Like I just want to emphasize this part, right? I am not happy with the state of Chelsea. I am not happy with the way all things have been done. I mean, most things have been done. There are things that I have my grievances with, and I've discussed them in the last show. I have my complaints, and I understand our ownership is not perfect, right? However, when you and I said this last time too, and it's funny that it's happening the way it's happening, because I said I find it really weird the timing of this protest, right? When it's happening, because it's coming from a place where like Robert said, if you get out of the social media aspect of it, and this is to the point that Simon Jordan was getting at with the caller Stevie, is when you look at the place and again, I emphasize, I understand the situation. I understand the context of where Chelsea's at, how it used to be run versus how it's being run right now. And my complaints, a lot of it happening from, I think the straw on the camel's back was the January transfer window,
Mhm.
where, it's hurting us now, right? Not
Yeah,
the
we
lack of
got
recruitment.
significantly weaker.
Yes. The lack of recruitment has somehow impacted the team and so on and so forth. It is what it is. But when you look at the context in terms of the results and where Chelsea are right now, we are currently in the top four race. We're not in the best form. We've only won 2 of our last 10,
Mhm.
5 losses in there as well. We're currently not in the best form. But when you look at the table, we're in a top 4 race. I can't complain to you guys about Chelsea like I do with you guys when I go and talk to Spurs and United fans, because they laugh at me and they don't want to listen to anything I have to say, because to them I sound entitled, which is
Hmm.
why Chelsea fans get called entitled, which is why they get called crybabies, because I understand that, like, and this is what Simon Jordan was saying, and it's a damning statement that at the end of that segment that was clipped, the other host on the show, says he's happy he's a Spurs fan. Like
Yeah.
to look at where they are right now and to look at where United is right now and to hear Chelsea fans complain about their situation, being that they're in a top four race and they could potentially be in Champions League next season, and they made progression and they have owners that, although forced, right, have spent money on their clubs and they're getting all these players. It's like, bro, I much rather be in Chelsea's position than Spurs, who have been doing their model for how long, United that's been collapsing and getting the manager that we wanted. I understand there's context to everything, and I understand it's not ideal either. Like, I'm not trying to say settle for whatever, but I also look at it too, and I'm like, even if Bowley could leave, and not even Bowley, I'm sorry, even if Clearlake could leave, who's to say the next person is going to be better? They
Mm,
could be
Ricketts.
worse. They could be
Ricketts
worse.
family.
no, no,
This
no, no,
could.
no, no.
I'm not saying Ricketts, but it could be an owner that is worse than what we have now. I'll be so honest, and that's likely the outcome. To be honest, I don't expect there to be a better version of Clear Lake. I really don't. I don't think there's many owners like that are like a Sheikh Mansour or a Roman out there that are gonna just put money into the footballing aspect of it and not care. I just think I think it's likely to get worse if Clear Lake or Blueco were to leave than if they were to just stay. I'll be so real.
But I've posed that same question on Twitter and or to other people, and nobody is giving me a proper answer. Like everybody's just like, I don't care. I just want somebody else. It's as if you are guaranteed that that's like you could get Ineos tomorrow. Like remember, he placed a bid for Chelsea, right? The
Mm-hmm.
Ricketts family too. And the good thing about it is that we had an owner in Roman Abramovich who actually was looking for the best interest of the club and wanted an owner that would present him a plan that was for the advancement of Chelsea Football Club. Do you think if Clear Lake sells, they will care about that, or they will just get the highest bidder? They'll just get whoever. Let's assume they decide to sell. Do you think they're gonna care about somebody presenting a plan for what's best for Chelsea? They'll be like, no, 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 just give me my investment back, plus whatever the value of whatever the value of the club is, and we move. I don't
Mm.
care what you do with the club. I don't care whether you're the best person for the club. As long as you give me the most money, I'm happy and I go. What's to say that whoever we get is gonna be as good? Like we have somebody that we can literally say, like Roman vetted these people, and he said these are the people that I think will be best suited to run Chelsea Football Club and to continue the success of Chelsea Football Club. Out of everybody that put in the bid, the Ricketts family or whatever, and that's we had an owner who wanted the best for Chelsea. If Peter Alexis was to sell today, they're not gonna care what's best for Chelsea down the line. They're just gonna say, I'm gonna sell to the one that will give me 5 or 6 billion pounds, and they will
Yeah,
move. You know,
yeah. Sell
and
to the highest
so
bidder at that point.
sell to the highest bidder, regardless of whether they will ever invest or whether they will just be out here just playing Corbin kids for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, yeah. That's understandable. Um, I get it from the investment aspect, and I get it from we don't know what the next owner would be because I think everybody wants a Saudi owner, and the Saudi owner, the type of Saudi owner that will be allowed to spend their money. That's why I'm more so thinking it would be more beneficial to try and change the sporting directors if a change is
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be called for. I think that's where the full aim should be because I can hear it at that point. It's a tangible change, and if you change that, that kind of says you have to adjust the model. Maybe not even
What's
change it.
what's what's kind of what the sporting director did not instill the model. They didn't put the model in place. They just followed the model. They're just
Yeah, but you could have.
putting the
But
model in
again,
application.
but you can put the application. You can put a better application. Yeah, that it's like this. It's like this. Perfect example. I come to you as a owner and said, "Hey, for our system, I want us to use a backup software." There's multiple types of backup software out there. It's up on you to do the due diligence to see which one is the best backup software. Could go, you could go multiple. Do you understand? And whatever type of backup software you want to do, you could even do manual backup. You can even copy and paste on a thumb drive and encrypt the thumb drive, and that's a type of backup. Or you could actually purchase a backup software such as Commvault to back up and manage your data, your data. So I use that example to say this. Yes, the directors put out the model, but there's still sporting directors out there that are more competent and that can do a better job. And let's say the new sporting director comes in.
Such
He's
as,
huh?
such as.
Are you asking me to give you a name?
No, you said there's person director out there that will come in and do a better job that are better. I said, such as who?
Okay, next week I'll answer that. I'll answer that question. And the reason why
Okay, thanks.
I'm going to do that, if I'm assuming you want a serious answer and you want a serious discussion,
No,
so
I want
you're
a
gonna have
serious.
to,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly,
yeah. So
exactly.
you're gonna
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to. So if that's the case, you're gonna have to give me time to come up with to kind of
yeah.
compare
Yeah,
what both have done over their careers, or
yeah,
to
no
say
problem, no problem, no
this two
problem,
we have.
no problem.
So
Research.
we'll go through that next week. But basically what I'm saying is to come in, and then again when you're having the discussion with the owners, we can continue with the same model, but we're going to have to make some changes, or else we're going to be in the same situation that we had with the last two sporting directors. So if you are going to protest, make your voice heard. Get behind something that can cause a tangible change that would yield results later on. You may not agree that it may yield results, Robert, but I'm pretty sure it would yield results because that signifies multiple things, not just changing the two people, but you have to adjust your model, change your model. Or if let's say you're going to protest, right? Protest against the model. How about that? Right, Marshall? How about that? Protest against the model. You're tired of
Yeah,
buying
that's
youth.
reasonable.
Stop human traffic players. Stop player trafficking. Stop messing up youth development. Protest
It's
against
not.
the model if that's the
Yeah,
case.
it's like it's more so like I don't mind. For me, I've said this. I don't mind the model. What I don't like about the model. Wow, I just contradicted myself there. Actually, the things about the model that I don't like, that if you did these things, I would love the model. Is one, be open to bringing in experienced players,
Mhm.
right? Or be more open to it. Like I think when we got Neto and Felix in the summer, I was thinking, okay, they're opening up now to that idea of bringing in some experienced players.
But they're
Tosin,
still,
another example.
but when you look at it, they still fit the model, but they're young and
Yeah,
experienced, is what I'm saying. So if you
yeah,
had
yeah.
more
Yeah.
signings like that around the pitch, you'd be fine.
And like those signings, I didn't mind because I was like, okay, cool. You're being more balanced about it, right? Like let's bring more balance to it. And the other aspect of it that I would love for them to improve on is have a plan for the young players that you are bringing in. I don't want to see a Cassidy go for the same amount that we bought him for. When if we had developed him, he could have been either a star, good MVP player, whatever for Chelsea, or we could have just sold him for a good amount of profit. You know, maybe 40 million euros instead of the 15 that we got. Like we just before we came on, little T for the sideline view. We were watching David Washington comps, right? And we saw how good this kid is, and we are thinking, bro, the 2 seasons he's been with Chelsea, we have not done loan. He's just been under 21 king. Like this is the thing I'm talking about. Better
Mm-hmm.
management of that needs to happen. That needs to
Exactly.
change. You
Mm-hmm.
implement those two things to the model. For me, I'm happy. I'm happy. I think that's great. That's a great model. So there's holes in the model that need adjusting. That if you want to protest that, bro, I'm all for it. I'll support you on that. I'll
Mm-hmm.
support you on that 100%.
Well, like again, protest. If I was in England, I'd probably be at the protest too.
Yeah.
But my issue is protest things that can cause tangible change.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to go for the sporting directors, protest with clear, concise point. If you're going to protest against the model, you can protest against the model, and that can cause change. That can cause change. You can make bulletin points. There's been X amount of years. There's been X amount of transfer windows. There's been no clear progress. You're stifling the youth development. You're not progressing you're not progressing you're not progressing up the ladder in terms of youth development. You purposely neglecting to bring in experience is is inhibiting those youth from being developed properly.
Mm.
You understand? If you're going to invest in youth and from the human level, you're going to need to mitigate certain circumstances to cause them to derail. Look, we've seen the attitude problems that people like Noni and Jackson has had. We've seen multiple things. An experienced head around in their position could mitigate certain things like that. So all in all, I'm saying if you're gonna protest, find something to protest that's going to be again cause a tangible change. There's no clearer way of saying that. You know,
I think I think
Let-
people. I mean, when people speak of the protesting the model, there's no modern football that's perfect. I mean, maybe Real Madrid's. Maybe you can say that's perfect. Every model that you find, especially in the Premier League, is flawed. Even Liverpool models is flawed. There's no, everybody can sit there and say, I'm going to protest this about the Moreover Football Club. Every football fan can do that. There's no model. We're seeking perfection in the model, how we operate. Perfection does not exist. There's going to be players that will come in that you thought they were going to get developed and be ballers in this club, and that's just not going to be the case. I already casted it highly. I wanted him to succeed here. But again, not everybody that we buy he's gonna make it. There's gonna be some players that will come. Progression is not gonna be as linear as we would have hoped or would have thought of. And at the end, they're probably gonna get frustrated and they're gonna want to leave.
but here's the
And
problem. But here's the
we
problem with that, Robert. I could fully back that statement if there wasn't clear holes in the starting 11. Let's say we had everything that we needed to compete, and then you tell me, oh, not everyone that comes here is going to make it. I hear it, because we're winning on the pitch. There's just people better in your position. The issue then comes is when you're saying all of that, but we're still having issues on the pitch that are not being addressed. So, perfect example, Washington. Didn't develop, didn't get a sniff here. We're still having a striker problem. Why didn't we just use the money that we spent on Washington to invest into a better striker or someone to compete with Jackson? And then that's not only Washington. You got Dacho Fafana, Mark Gill, so on and so forth. Cassidy came in. I wanted him to succeed, but then you still had Leslie, Santos, Fernandez, Lavia, and Caicedo. What world was he going to do something here? And then we still brought in this Matisse kid, right? I thought he was supposed to be doing all he can in Chelsea. What in what world was he going to succeed here? So when you couple what you said with things that are missing in the starting level, that's where the frustration comes in from my perspective.
Mhm.
And I think I
Yeah,
can
I
say the
agree.
same for Marshall.
Yeah, I agree. That's my frustrations too.
Well, I hear that, and I think people are frustrated just either for lack of patience or again frustration of what happening on the pitch, or simply they just don't understand the model quite well, and they just think that it should be what we saw under Roman, and that's never coming back. I think people are struggling to get over that. You know,
That's
oh,
definitely a
under
fact. Yeah.
Roman we had Drogba, but we would buy Shevchenko and and Torres and Anelka. It's like that era is gone. People want blue coat out thinking, oh, if we get a Qatari or a Saudi owner,
Ownership.
we'll be better off. You forget that
Hmm.
Newcastle has a Saudi owner, the richest one in football, and they're still struggling with PSR. They had to sell the best players just to comply with PSR. So it's not
Yeah.
that having an owner that's rich and that will care for the club just for the football aspect. It is not in
It's kind of a
today's
pipe
football.
dream.
It's and even if that was the case, you have to run the football club in a very strategic way. You can no longer run it the way Roman could run a club, or
Yeah,
the way
that's a
Man
big
City were
point.
run at the beginning, just like oh, we bring in a 40 million pounds a fullback, it does not work. ban him, get another 50 million pound fullback. You cannot do that in football anymore these days. You have to be
Yeah.
strategic with every transfer. You have to think one, two, three transfer
Mm-hmm.
windows ahead. You have to have a conveyor belt of talent or coming in that you brought in for a lower price and lower
Mm-hmm.
wages because not only the fees to buy the player, but the wages of the player now are gonna
Mhm.
be part of PSR. So you cannot just go and splurge money and think we're gonna be better on the pitch. No, and the our model is the way our model is, as far as I understand it, we invest in young talent so that we don't have the problem that, for instance, I was saying Man City find themselves in today. They find themselves in the problem where they have to replace the older players. Now you have to spend 80 million on Marmoush. Now you gotta go next in the summer. I hear the link to Vert. If you wanna go for Vert to replace the Predator, it's gonna cost you 100 million
120.
pounds. And then you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna have to put him on a 300K a week because you can give Marmoush
Mm-hmm.
300K a week. And now you want to replace another, you want to replace
Zubimendi.
Bernardo Silva. You
Yep.
want to replace, a winger. You have to splurge and splash even more. And you can, you're gonna get limited by
Yep.
PSR, you're gonna get limited by FFP, and there's only so much you can do. And again, people might say, "Oh, they won four in a row, so they can do whatever they want." Yeah, I hear it, but at some point, this cycle is over. There's a reason why they're following our plan and giving Haaland a 9.5 year deal
Mm-hmm.
because it's better. No, you can amortize it, but it's locking in a player, and you can just redo the contract over and over and
The
over
payments
again.
don't affect the
Yeah.
PSR as
Yeah,
much. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. And so,
Mm-hmm.
you see West Ham giving Bowen 7.5 year deals now.
Yeah.
Because it is now strategic that
Mm-hmm.
like they wanted to ban selling your hotels to yourself until they realize, oh, we closed the loopholes for amortization, which we probably could have used it ourselves by now. Imagine
Yeah.
if Man City would have amortized Mahmoud for 8 years instead
Mhm.
of five you
Mhm.
know. And so there's loopholes that they've closed that we've taken advantage of,
Mm-hmm.
and so on. So if you have like a Liverpool, for instance, if they let Salah go for free, how much do you think it's gonna take to replace 40 GA from Salah in Liverpool
Mm.
team?
Mm.
How much do you think it's gonna cost to replace what Haaland gives you?
It's a
Like
whole lot
they,
of
they've
money.
gone they've gone and got Mamadashvili. Do you think Mamadashvili's gonna ever get to Alisson levels? I don't think he's ever
Mm-hmm.
gonna get to that level. Like you have Konate linked to Real Madrid and PSG. If you lose Konate, who's on a 1 year deal, on a one year left on his contract, how much you think you're gonna have to spend to replace
Mm-hmm.
a center back to the level of Konate or a Van Dijk?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to play. I'm telling you, you think we've spent 1.5 billion? It's too much. Why don't this team start replacing the player that they're gonna lose? Then you will see.
It's gonna
Yeah.
be normalized, and I was saying this last season, right? Because like I feel like people were so focused on how much we spent in two windows that they were losing focus of how much Arsenal has spent to build the current project they have now. They're close to $1 billion with the team that they have, and they still have nothing to show for it. They're just as bad as us. But I'm glad Robert brought up the PSR thing because I may have brought this up in a previous episode, and I was saying like how and Javon, you said this about me before we started recording. It's like I'm a very logical person. I like to come at things from a very logical sense of view because I like to understand and I try to understand how people run the very thing that I love to watch and I have a passion for. So for me, one of the things that I mentioned in the previous episode, I think, was we were talking about how for me, it feels like teams don't want to win anymore.
Mhm.
Like it is like a weird feeling in the way how everyone recruited, barring Aston Villa, right? And how they moved in the window. And it's almost like I wish the PSR rules and the financial rules were publicly available for people to just look at because I would like to look at those and understand why clubs make transfers the way they do. Because if Chelsea were let's just say this, if Chelsea were the only club in January
Exactly.
that didn't make a single move, then I would be enraged, right?
Mhm.
But the reason I'm not enraged with the window, yeah, I'm disappointed, but I'm not enraged and throwing my toys out the window is because okay, Chelsea did this, but so did this club. So did this club. And so did this club. So something's going on that I don't understand because there's no way that all these clubs are doing it for the same exact reason that, oh, they're incompetent. Their sporting directors don't know. Like, there has to be something that is causing them to not do it. They can't just all be incompetent, right? Just
Yeah.
like the same with Man City. Like, this is the first window where I've seen Man City pick up youngsters and stuff. And even though they're in a position where they desperately need a game changer to come into the team and save their season. Like, they could have used a Kvaratskhelia, but they didn't go for a Kvaratskhelia. You know, they could have used there's an Asensio. I think an Asensio would have done well in the Man City system, but they didn't go for
They
Asensio.
went for Marmoush.
They went for Marmoush. So there's like the way these clubs are moving and the way they're I think PSR is something that a lot of just fans of football for Premier League do not understand wholeheartedly and disregard very often. That if you put that into context and if we all knew how these financial fair play and PSR rules work, I think it would give us a lot more of an understanding on how and why our clubs do the business that they've been doing in recent years. Because Robert said it, and this is a nail in the head for me. How football was run under Roman, under the Sir Alex Ferguson era, under even the early Klopp and Michael Edwards era is very, 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 people, different than how it's being run now. Because if it was the same as then, I guarantee you every club would be spending boatloads of money just like they were, and we would still have some of the greatest players here and stuff and so on and so forth. It wouldn't be an issue. But I think it is an issue, and that's why you see only really Aston Villa reinforce the way they did.
Yeah.
And they did so with loans and not buying. And even Real Madrid, the
Daniel
most the
Malin
most
was the only one
well
they
the
bought.
most
Yeah.
well-run club, they were decimated. All the center backs out in January. Right
They
back
did nothing.
out with ACL.
They did nothing in
Did
January.
absolutely nothing. It's a they
Hey,
can buy
Real Madrid is not the
trends.
club we want to
I'm
compare
just giving
ourselves.
No, I'm
exactly.
just
We
saying.
shouldn't compare, but the point is, even they, Jim,
Yeah, even they
January,
didn't do anything.
we stay put. We're not, and we are going for La Liga and Champions League and all of that,
Mm-hmm.
And they say, you know what? We'll pause. We'll wait for our guys to get back and
Yeah.
not panic in January.
And
But
again, it's not
we
an
want us to
excuse.
panic.
It's not an excuse because even within the same parameters that we're aware of, like they still could have done things, right? Like we still could have gone a striker on loan or something. There still could have been probably like a midfielder option, like a Douglas Luiz was touted out a lot. Like I wouldn't have minded a Douglas Luiz. I think that's reasonable on a loan. I think that could have been reasonable and we could have worked with that. Maybe it didn't fit the system. I don't know, but there were options out there. So that's not making excuses either. It's just coming from a place for me that I would like to understand why we don't do the things that we want the directors to do and what exactly makes it so hard for them to do those things.
Okay.
Is it incompetency or is it restrictions?
Incompetent. Listen, so I was so this whole time I was searching for the tweet because I wanted to bring it to you guys' attention. Chelsea and Arsenal are expected to battle it out for PSG advisor Luis Campos. The Blues want to make Campos the CEO of football, where he will have a major role with more functions when compared to that of the traditional director of football. No.
Do we have a CEO of football?
But no, probably. So
I don't know how many we have. We have a global recruiter of football. We have sporting directors, CEO of business. We have so many positions, man. Can you show me the Chelsea company tree? I'd like to see that.
We're not doing that. We're short in time. We are short in time, and I'm not going into that right now. So, how would you guys feel if a Campos was supposed to step through the door? And another thing as well, if he was supposed to step to the door, would you think him coming in, would you think he'd want to adjust and change the model? And would you think he would get rid of Lawrence Stewart and Winstanley? Let's start with you, Marshall.
Okay. I'm bad with names. I'm going to be very transparent with you. Remind me, Luis Campos, he's the PSG one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The one that kind of oversee the overseas, what they're doing right
So
now.
right now, he's still at PSG right now.
Yes, let me just confirm my information here.
Yeah, because I need a reminder because I'm not good at like remembering how these directors what they do and the talents they've acquired. But I know Luis Campos is no joke. He's like one of the favored ones in the sporting director. Like he's up there with Michael Edwards and the other one too. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I'm aware.
Yeah, Luis.
But he's recruited some pretty
Yeah.
talented individuals, including in
Yeah, I
Kunku.
mean, I think Ben Jacob came, kind of refuted that straight away after that came out,
Mm-hmm.
and said that it was right out off the mark. That Chelsea were happy with our current sporting directors and the recruitment structure and what
It
they've
would
done
have to
so
be,
far.
but that's the thing though. Like, even if let's just entertain the hypothetical, right? Even if we would entertain like a Louis Campos,
Mm-hmm.
I think if he were to come to Chelsea, it would have to be again. He would have to do what the owners ask of him, right? And he would be charged with the task of, I guess, making the model more efficient
Mm-hmm.
and not changing it. Like nothing would change. We would probably just have a more organized way of doing the model that would make maybe a little more sense. Because again, I go back to what I said originally. Sometimes you recruit players and it's like, okay, why? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what was the point of recruiting David Washington? What was the point of recruiting João Felix again? Some of these things that don't make sense. And maybe it cleans up the negotiations. Maybe it cleans up the business sides of things, which would be nice. It would be nice. It would give us a little bit more direction. So he can help us in that sense, give us more direction. And on top of it, too, with the name that he has, I'm sure, and the experience that he has, I'm sure he has a lot of people he
Pull
can call
on
to
leverage.
for
Mm-hmm.
favors, more leverage. Because in the business world of football as well, you need to have relationships. That's why we do so many negotiations with AC Milan. AC Milan is basically Chelsea Junior. Why? Because we have a good relationship with AC Milan. We also want to have a good relationship with Atletico. We
Mm-hmm.
also want to have a good relationship with Brighton,
Mm-hmm.
and so on and so forth. So, like, we have these relationships with clubs, but a Luis Campos probably has a lot more of those relationships that we could take advantage of and help us. I mean, look at what we're doing with Joe Shields pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
We're taking advantage of his relationship with Man City
Mm-hmm.
to get ex-Man City players.
Another
So
thing,
it's smart in that sense.
another thing I say as well is when you touch on making the system, making the whole thing a bit more efficient. We might not see these. We might not see these type of signings that we're seeing, such as the Matisse Armani kid, in the time we're seeing them.
Yeah.
Hear me out. And this just sparked on me. We might do the same exact things, but he might address the first team first. We might see the exact same type of signings, but the timing of them may be completely different. And he may bring in your, I don't want to say Neto because people are not going to understand what I say. We may see that experienced young signing.
Mhm.
Maybe even a Barcola come through the door. Maybe even that type of signing. Yeah, that type of signing. Played at the Champions League level, have experience, and still young enough to fit the model. We may even see, and then Asio from Sporting as a centre back. That type of signing. Adjust the first team, and then you do your little, wonder kid, random NPC player signing at the side.
So here's where Chelsea fans, I think, we try to see that we think everything that's not at Chelsea is the best, and everything at Chelsea is absolutely atrocious. Imagine if Luis Campos was at
Facts.
Chelsea. Imagine Luis Campos was at Chelsea, right? Now he spends 90 million pounds or 90 million euros on Colomwani and bring him after 6 months or a year. Spends was it 80 million on Goncalo Ramos? Doesn't play him. Get rid of
What are you talking
Ekitike.
about? Gonzalo Ramos was injured this season, and he's back and he
No,
scored goals for fun.
no. He doesn't start. He doesn't start for them
He
at
still
all.
plays though.
He plays bare minutes, and
Robert's
then
still in the
you
team,
have
bro.
Ekitike that you shipped out in Germany and is out there balling out. Imagine if that was here at Chelsea Football Club that you've wasted, and then we have a manager that plays Who's he play? Who plays? I think the front three is Desiree Doué, who was inexperienced, but you bought him for 60 million. Barcola and Dembele. Dembele obviously just broke out. This is like a breakout season.
Hmm.
Imagine if that was a Chelsea Football Club. And in the Champions League game against Arsenal, you started, is it that one Lin Kang, the Korean kid, up front as your striker against what you have Goncalo Ramos and you've shipped out Colomwani. Imagine that would happen at Chelsea Football Club.
Ramos was injured at the time, though.
No, Colomwani was there though. Didn't get a sniff. And he's a striker. Imagine if that had happened at Chelsea Football Club.
But then again, that's on the manager. That's where he lands on the manager. Like
No, 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 no.
think about it. If you recruit a
Spilling the
if
tea.
I bring a striker in the
Exposing
squad.
Luis Campos, man.
No, Marshall, think about it. You're a manager.
Yeah.
You tell me you want a striker. I brought in a striker, and you don't use a striker. Isn't it the same situation we face now with Joao Felix?
No, this is the same.
Mariska didn't want to use Felix.
This
Is it
is
on
the
the
same.
sporting
This is the
directors or is
same.
it on,
This is
on
the same
Mariska?
sporting director that was offered
That's a manager.
220 million euros per Mbappe, turn it down only to let him go for free. Yes or no?
Not
But
wrong.
see, the Emma, but you have to use context with these things, bro.
No,
Mbappe
no,
situation
no,
different,
I'm
bro.
just no. How is it different? You got offered 220 million euros by Real
Yeah, it
Madrid
was to Saudi.
for
Wait,
Mbappe,
was
who
it?
had 1 year
I thought
left
it
on
was
his
Saudi.
contract, and you turn it down
But
and then
Mbappe,
you subsequently wanted to go,
but
you let
Mbappe
him
is
go
a
for
world
free.
star, bro. That I'm not hearing it, bro. And you know why? Because
Even more of a reason why you can't let him go for free. He was gone.
but there was
But you
gentlemen's
said,
agreement and all kind of nonsense. You're not
gentlemen,
gonna.
let him come to Chelsea and say, I let Cole Palmer go for free because I had a gentleman agreement. Let's see how many protests we have outside the
Hey,
Stamford Bridge.
No,
I'm
no, no,
saying Robert Smith.
no, bro. Let's not gloss over the whole Mbappe situation. Like Mbappe wasn't a world star and he was told to go to Madrid from early, and he had a
No,
gentleman's agreement to stay at PSG for X amount
That's
of
not the
time, and
point. No,
because
that's not the point, though.
because of the contract situation, that's why I ended up going for free. I get what Robert is saying.
The
Sell him
year
for money
before,
and not sell him for free.
yeah, Real Madrid offered them 220 million euros.
Yeah.
He turned it down. He said, no, I would rather I would let you go on the free than me
Luis
accepting
Campos was
money
part of that
for Mbappe.
negotiations and that
But
discussion.
I think Mbappe had a lot to say in that that
No,
negotiation at the time.
Mbappe wanted to go. Mbappe
Oh,
already,
yeah.
he wanted to go. Mbappe wanted to
Javon,
go.
I think what he's getting at is that if you reverse the roles and that was our sporting directors doing that kind of business,
All of you guys want him out.
we would ring him out. And he's not wrong. We would ring him
True.
out. Like, that's why he said Cole Palmer. If we let Cole Palmer go on a free, oh my God. I would fly out to the UK right now and protest.
Especially
I'll make my
after,
sign,
especially
right?
With a little
imagine
from
if
America side in the corner.
yeah.
I'll go to, I don't know if they have Domino's in the UK or Pizza Hut. I'll go there. I'll throw the pizza out. I'll draw on there. Don't let Cole Palmer go on a free. I would be so angry.
Especially a year after you will be offered. Let's say we get offered 100 million for Cole Palmer with a year left on his contract. We turn it down only for him to leave on the free.
Listen. Yeah. I hear it. But there was a lot of nuances in that
Oh, see
Mbappe
again,
contract.
because it's outside. You say, oh, there's a lot of nuance. Again,
No, bro. Let's not do this. Let's not.
I'm
act
giving
like,
you, I'm
nah,
giving you
let's not-
three.
Let's
I'm
not
giving
act
you
like the
three
whole
Cleaning up the
Mbappe
failings
saga.
as well.
Let's not act like the whole Mbappe saga wasn't a whole. I don't want to curse on here. Wasn't a whole show. It was a whole back and forth for years. So if you give me something that Mbappe saga lasted the span of 4 transfer windows, 4 years, 4 summer transfer windows. So let's not act like there were not nuances to it. I get what you're saying. At the end of the day, Mbappe shouldn't have left for free, but there was a lot of things that we're not considering. Because at one point, Mbappe said, "Okay, I don't want to leave, and I don't necessarily want to leave PSG." He wanted to win the UCL. Can you remember? Mbappe wanted to win the UCL. He wanted to bring glory to PSG, and when he just wasn't working out, he decided to leave. He rejected
No,
Real Madrid here and there.
they were eliminated from the Champions League. Mbappe literally said, "I am not going to renew my contract." He had a
That's in
1 year
the
left.
last year of it.
No,
What happened the year
exactly.
before?
No. he renewed his contract, right, for I think 2 years, and then they played that last year with Messi, right? And then he said, "I am not going to renew my contract." Real Madrid came and said, "We will give you 220 million euros. Here is an official bid." He turned it down. Mbappe said, "I am not going to renew my contract." Either, at that point, either he's leaving for free next summer because he's not renewing, he's not signing. Either he's leaving for free next summer, or you take 220 million euros for him. He let him go. Right now, they do not have a striker. They bought Colomwani for 90 million, Goncalo Ramos for 80 million, and let go of Ekitike, who's in Frankfurt, banging goals for fun. Let that be a Chelsea Football Club, and
That is
see how
true.
many protests we have.
That is true. I hear it. I hear it. I hear it. But I hear it. I hear it. I hear it. At the end of the day, I'd still want him here. I still want him here. He has more experience than these two. I'd still take him here. I'd still take him. I'm done. I'm done with these two, bro. I'm done with these two. I'm done with these two.
Uh,
Then again, it is what it is.
anyways,
I think I'm going to wrap it there. So the
fairs,
official
fairs.
the official vote from Robert is he doesn't want a campus here because he's done some
No,
shady stuff.
I'm not saying. I'm not saying I don't.
So why
I'm
you
not.
bring it up, bro?
No,
Why
I'm
do you
not saying.
bring it up then?
I'm not saying. I'm not saying that he will be bad. I'm just saying that he's not perfect. He has flaws. We've
Yeah,
seen flaws that he has operated in within his time at PSG. If he came here, Chelsea fans would expect perfection, and it's not perfect. As soon as he gets a couple things wrong, then it's gonna be, oh my God, it's just another Winstanley and Stewart once again. And it's gonna be Campos out, Campos out, Campos out, because he did a couple things that were not, you know, that
favorable.
were not perfect.
But I tell you what, though, he
I'm just saying.
prioritized that first team first. I tell you that much.
Did,
And on
didn't
that
it,
note, we are going to
isn't it,
wrap it.
isn't
Thank
it
you
the one
for
that
joining
hired
us on the
he
Final Four
hired
podcast.
Poch, right? He hired Poch as the manager, right?
And they
Oh
won the
no,
league, right?
no,
I
never mind.
rest my
And they
I'm
case.
with
won the
I'm
league,
with I'm
right?
with Robert now. I'm with
And
Robert
The,
now.
and they
Goodbye.
won
and
the league, right?
Goodbye.
and,
Campos
and
And they
out.
right the cup,
Campos
and they
out.
won the cup competition, right? And
they
they went to a
battled
UCL final, right?
they,
Oh,
no, no,
oh,
no,
oh,
Campos
not
out.
oh,
with
oh,
Poch, not with
oh, oh,
Poch,
oh.
not with Poch.
Then you win the league.
They battled it the second. They won it when he came in January. The next season, when it was full season, they battled it, and I think Lyon won the league that season.
Let's pull it up. Let's pull it up. But let's pull it up. Let's pull it up.
Watch full
Let's pull it
season,
up.
he battled the league and PSG.
Hey,
That's
Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on.
he
Didn't
bottled
he?
the league. He
Okay,
did.
cool, cool,
He
cool.
lost to Lille in his
No, he
first,
still won it. He won the league. He won the
he
league.
won. He won the league
the
He
second
because
won the
season.
league. He
because
won the league.
Tuchel had built in a cushion,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then he came in and almost battled it by completing that season. The next season, when he has his own full season, he battled it.
Okay, but that's still not. That's still not even. That's still not even a thing because our dumbasses still hired Potch, didn't he? And what did Potch do? So what's the point? What's the point? No,
Exactly
what's
my
the no no
point.
no?
See, no,
What's
but
the
Hey,
exactly.
he
point?
fits right in then.
My point is,
He fits right in.
Campos also has his flaws. That's been my point the whole time. He also has his flaws. He's not the perfect
That's good
sporting
recruitment,
director.
man. It's compatible with our system.
Yeah,
Oh,
he won
jeez.
three. He won. This says he won 3 trophies in France.
Yes, won a couple cups like Coupe de
Yeah, but
France,
only
and
one
that's it.
league trophy
One league
in his two
trophy.
seasons in his
Okay.
two runs in the competition.
Listen, he still won a trophy. Listen, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna die on this hill. It was just a question. It was something I saw. Decided to pose the question. You want to nitpick? You want to nitpick? Who would you bring in? Huh? Because the people we have did the same things. Huh? Who would you bring in?
I'm picking who we have. The grass is not always greener.
Unless you go over there and water it and cut the grass. Thank you for joining thank you for joining us on the Final Whistle podcast. This has been another interesting episode and another interesting discussion. By the time this comes out, people should be gearing up for the protest. So good luck with the protest, people. Be safe out there. Don't make it hostile. And let's hope for the 3
please don't.
points. And after you protest, please support the team. Don't just
Please.
go out there to boo and jeer. support the team. We need the 3 points. We need to build momentum. We need to finish the season strong. So after you're done doing support the team, and then next week continue with the next process, because this cannot be a one-off, people. So I might sound contradicting going to boo and then support the team, but the guys need the support. We're depleted. We're lacking personnel. The confidence seems to be on the floor for everybody, including Cole Palmer. So just support the team whilst you're there. All right. Marshall, let them know where they can find you.
Casual EFC over on YouTube as well as Twitter or X. We have streams pretty much planned for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We're going to have a jam-packed week of content. Tomorrow also, well, the day of this video release, we'll be doing a match review over there. So, yeah. Tune in because there's plenty of content to discuss. I'm back now. So
I might pop in for the match review.
Yeah, I'm gonna be over there too. Robert, let's go over there for the match.
Yeah, let's hang
let's
out.
Go cause
Let's hang
havoc.
out.
Let's go cause havoc.
We'll celebrate a win. We'll celebrate a
Hey,
Robert, let them know they can find you. If they want to find you.
I'm on Twitter. Just come find me, man. And love for all. Let's keep Chelsea peaceful.
Yes, this man almost said love for the love. This ain't Big Six, bro.
I know. I said love for all.
All right, guys. Please remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for all the support. We appreciate it. And we move up the Chelsea.